Welcome to Inside Sports Talk with your host, Johanna-Rosalye. I am here with my co-host, Ed Cole. How are you tonight?
Good evening, Joanna. How are you? Missed you, girl.
Thanks. I missed you. I'm glad to be back and to talk some sports. And we also have a guest who is joining us, Aileen Carrasco, our lovely, wonderful friend. How are you, amiga?
Thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
So we have so much sports to cover, and I'm very excited. This last weekend and beginning of this week has just been a roller coaster of emotions with sports. So much happening, college football, NFL, the NBA Finals, and it's October baseball. So much excitement and so much happening. So I'm glad to have you guys on and be able to talk some of this. We were just talking before we came on about the Dodgers game, and we were talking postseason baseball. The Dodgers game against the Atlanta Braves, my goodness, that was just close to being a comeback for the Dodgers, but they fell short. And go ahead, and I want to get your thoughts on this game. Dodgers just fell short, and it seems like their pitching is one of the things that is a struggle, not only this postseason or even against the Braves, but it's something that they seem to be struggling along each postseason.
Yeah, it's weird how that happens, right? And we know the Dodgers are known for their pitching, but for the fact when they get to the postseason, and the fact that they didn't have Clayton Kershaw tonight because he had back spasms, and then Gonsolin had to come in and relieve him, and he did 4 1/3 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, had 7 strikeouts, but those 5 earned runs really killed the Dodgers tonight. But Atlanta went up 7-0, and you kind of thought, well, let me go ahead and flip to the Bills-Titans game because this game is over. But, of course, the Dodgers made it a game. They rallied as hard as they could, scored 4 in the bottom of the 9th, and came close. They had a man on third base but couldn't bring him in. But, yeah, you're up 7-0. You'll think, okay, Atlanta's got this game. They're already up 2-0. But the Dodgers said, no, we're not done yet. This game is not over yet. They rallied. But you can't get down 7-0 in a playoff game and expect just to turn the lights on like that, just to flick a switch like that, even though the Dodgers can do that. You cannot do that against the dangerous and talented Atlanta Braves team and expect to come out victorious. And that's why they're down 2-0, Aileen.
Exactly. October baseball, I gotta love it, right? It gives you another vibe. I love it. Not only is October my favorite month of the year, but also baseball, right? And I'm loving it. I'm loving that the Dodgers are losing. Like I said, I am all anti-Dodger. I love it. Anti-Astros too. No cheaters here. No cheaters here. And this game, like we had talked about, the Braves versus Dodgers. Braves are hot. The Braves are hot, and I am loving it. One of the hottest teams in postseason right now. And actually, a couple years ago, when they did face each other and the Dodgers beat them to pass on, I was at that game in Atlanta. Crazy. But like right now, we had said it was like 8-3. We're like, this game's over, So turn it back around. I was like, wait, 8-7? The Dodgers did come back, like you said, back spasms with their pitching. And the Dodgers, I really don't trust him, man, especially when my man Jensen always comes out into that pitching mound. Not only do I get nervous, I think all the Dodgers fans get nervous because you can't really trust that pitching. But with that team, I'm going to go Braves all the way. For me, it's going to go Dodgers are going to there. Dodgers are not advancing. Sorry, Dodger fans. That's it for you guys. Pack up your bags and go home.
And Atlanta's got such a strong lineup with Acuna Jr., Freeman, Ozuna, Albies, Dansby Swanson, former Diamondback, and you go down to Nick Markakis, former Baltimore Oriole. So up and down that lineup, Aileen and Joe, they've got some strong hitters. It's hard to get these guys out.
Yeah, you guys said it.
Both teams had 10 hits today. The bats are on for both teams.
Yeah, you both said it. The Braves are coming hot and heavy. They are a force. Like I said, Freeman, Swanson, Acuna, just to name a few. It's just the Braves are coming back to being that postseason team like what they used to be, if you guys remember. So it's exciting to see that coming from the Braves. And this is something that many really didn't expect, especially against the Dodgers. And for the Dodgers being the team that they are, just dominating the National League and then especially National League West as well. We mentioned it. We have the Dodgers and their pitching, Jensen is one of those that you hold your breath, and Dodger fans, is like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And their pitching hasn't been dominant, especially that's one of the things that they struggle with in the postseason. And one of the questions that I was asking myself during the game is if they had David Price, which he decided to opt out of the 2020 season, how much of a different picture would that be for Dodgers pitching in the postseason if they had David Price?
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that would be a great addition. I even forgot about how he opted out of the season. You're absolutely right. But with Dodgers, it's like they have such a great team. They even added, Mookie Betts with that ridiculous contract this year. But somehow in the postseason, they always choke, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Dave Roberts will always go down in Dodger history if he cannot take this team as much talent as they have. Yeah, Aileen, if he can't take them to a world championship, they've won the division 8 years in a row, and you can't come out with a world title in any of those 8 years. What is it? They just get to a point and they just can't get over it. It's I don't know if it's a mental thing, if it's just something that it's just the Dodgers mystique that people they're not scared of the Dodgers. They're like, oh yeah, the Dodgers, you guys are good, but we're just as good. We can knock you off, just like the Braves feel right now.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about not being able to make it through the postseason with the Tampa Bay and the Yankees, how Tampa Bay was able to come and just take over the Yankees. That was a really great series to watch. Mm-hmm. And bats were just, the balls were just flying. The bats were on fire on both ends. And just to see the Yankees go down the way that they did, especially against Tampa Bay, which was not an expected team to make it as far as they have now. Mm-hmm. Right now, they're facing the Astros for the ALCS. Rays are dominating against the Astros. The Astros are, they're great. They have Altuve, they have Correa, they have amazing hitters, but just seeing the Rays, how they have come out and played, there is just phenomenal to watch. And I would say that I would not be surprised if they make it to the World Series.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt. I feel like the Rays are the Cinderella story. They're the Washington Nationals of this year, the ones that nobody expected them to be there, yet they're there. And they're playing with all their heart. Have you seen the plays that these Rays kids are flying over the wall, giving it their all, giving it their heart, and they're beating the Astros, and I'm loving it. The Astros are not stealing signs this year, but they're going, they're actually giving out signs. Greg is over here like, pitch number 2 is coming. Here you go. But they're trying to prove. So I feel like they're even fighting harder. They're like, you know what? We don't have to cheat. We didn't have to cheat. We're good. They're great hitters. They have great players. You said they have Altuve, they have Correa. Long list of all-star players, yet they didn't have to cheat. But I'm going for the Rays. I'm going for the Rays, and hopefully I'm going for the Rays and the Braves. Hopefully those are the last 2 teams. And I'm going for the Rays to get the Cinderella story, even though the Braves, for me, might win it all because I see them hot and they're strong. And right now, I don't see anybody stopping them.
I would not be opposed to a Tampa Bay Rays and Atlanta Braves World Series as well. And as we speak, the Tampa Bay Rays just scored 2 runs in the top of the 6th. So they're up 2-1 on Houston. So let's go Rays. Yay, let's go Rays. They get this game, they're up 3-0. And I know they took all that on their shoulders like, oh, yeah, it's us against the world. Yeah, nobody wants us to go far. Nobody wants us back in the World Series. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants us to win because of the cheating scandal. Everybody hates us. They had that mantra, and I'm sure they had that motivating the Houston Astros to get to where they are.
Before we move on, I just want to go ahead and say how amazing the Padres were going into the postseason, an unexpected team, not only the Padres, but the Marlins. I have to give both of those teams just props and just applaud them for how they were able to come through the regular season and getting into the postseason, making it as far as they did. Especially with the Marlins being the worst team in baseball and not expected to make it to the postseason, what they were able to do. And through the outbreak that happened too, they were out, I believe, was it 2 weeks, if I remember correctly, or just about? Mm-hmm. So, and then what they were able to accomplish and overcome that and make it at least, one level, one step into the postseason. Padres, amazing, not the best team in baseball as well. Not the greatest team in the National League in the West Division. And just they were a power force that was unexpected to watch. which made it even better to watch. And Fernando Tatis Jr., just phenomenal.
Phenomenal. I absolutely loved watching the Padres this year. I was rooting for them, not because it was against the Dodgers, but that too. But just because I loved it. And I'm all about this. Let's play our hearts out. The unwritten rules, do it. And I love that Fernando Tatis Jr. really pushed the limits this year. Let the kids play. That was my motto. Why not? Why not? It was all this discussion about, and I absolutely loved it. So for me, I was team Padres. But yes, they were an unexpected team. But what a lot of people don't know is that the Padres have a great farm system. They have been working their farm leagues for the longest time, and we are now seeing the fruits of labor. They have this great pitching with Adrian Morejon, 16-year-old kid from Cuba that came down here, and now he's finally, 21? So finally, after all these 5 years in there, he's doing great. We have Manny Machado, who was a great addition to the Padres, along with, Fernando Tatis Jr. And then with the Marlins, I absolutely loved it. And I feel like right now, Edward, I was telling you right now, Ed, when you said about the Bills having their quarantine break, I was like, sometimes it helps. And Marlins was one of those teams that the quarantine break helped. Like, we didn't even know if the team was going to make it to the finish the season. And they did absolutely great. I love all Miami teams. It's like my second home. So I was like, I know there was a worse team in baseball, but I absolutely loved them. And I was so excited that they got as far as they did, even with, all the stuff that they have with the outbreak and the COVID. And I absolutely love that one of our own too, Starling Marte, was, after that rough year that he had, he was able to enjoy a little bit of the champagne showers, at least, that postseason adrenaline for at least with the trade-in and everything that happened. So I'm excited for the Marlins and the Padres.
Yeah, those are two great stories, right? Two teams. It's been so long since the San Diego Padres have been relevant, but now they came back. They had a great season, 37-23, went with the Dodgers as long as they could before the Dodgers won the division. But for them to get back, and San Diego actually has a relevant baseball team again, that's great. And for the fact that the Marlins lost 105 games last year, and they made the playoffs this year, even though they ran into a buzzsaw with Atlanta, and they got shut out twice in those 3 games in that series. But Atlanta's the Braves are the Braves. But for the Marlins to endure everything they had to do with COVID and missing so many games and having to get back, what two great stories. And the fact that they expanded the playoff roster for teams this year, allowing those 2 teams to actually get in there, that was a great decision on MLB's part.
Yes.
Agreed.
I totally agree as well. We're going to go ahead and move on and talk a little bit of NFL, some football here. Phenomenal weekend that it was, and it's just been a long weekend of football as well. Not only Sunday, Monday, and also leading into Tuesday's game. But one of the breaking news that we just heard is Le'Veon Bell with the New York Jets has been released. And here's a statement that was released by General Manager Joe Douglas. And I'll just go ahead and read off, and then we can go ahead and talk a little bit further about this. He states, after having conversations with Le'Veon and his agent and exploring potential trade options over the past couple of days, we have made the decision to release Le'Veon. The Jets organization appreciates Le'Veon's efforts during this time here, and we know he worked hard to make significant contributions to this team. We believe this decision is in the best interest of both parties and wish him future success. One thing to mention is that Le'Veon and the Jets didn't go into having the best relationships as he went into the Jets. So that was, it was a 19-month relationship, and this is what we will come to see. There was not very much happiness there, very many disagreements, and he wanted out for some time. And now that wish has come true, like you and I, Ed and I had discussed earlier. And now it's to see what's next for Le'Veon as he moves out of the Jets organization and into the future.
Yeah, just a disastrous relationship that Le'Veon Bell and the Jets had. Of course, it went bad from the beginning because former general manager Mike McCagnon was actually the guy who signed him. Adam Gase did not sign him to that 4-year, $52.5 million contract. And Adam Gase never really wanted him with the New York Jets. So that just made things start off so badly and so poorly because Gase and Bell never got a good relationship. Then Adam Gase signed